After the Vietnam War, the Marine Corps requested some updates to their M16 rifle based on their experiences with the gun during the war. The Marines adopted the new M16A2 in the early 1980s, with the U.S. Army following suit in the late 1980s, replacing the M16 as the standard issue infantry rifle. The M16A2 was equipped with a thicker barrel than its predecessor to resist bending on the battlefield and to combat overheating after long periods of sustained fire.
When stacked up against the AK-47, I personally would prefer the Kalashnikov. I think it is a much simpler, more robust weapon. I was told by a field soldier that the scariest sound in the world is a click when you need to hear a bang. And an M16, because of its tight tolerances, it's prone to jamming, and an AK-47 is just so much simpler. And if you are looking to shoot someone, go with reliability every time, all the time.
Today, M16A2s remain in service with the Army, Air Force, Navy, and Coast Guard. The Marine Corps, ever an early adopter of new weapons technology, as well as a few select units of the U.S. Army, have upgraded to the M16A4 as their go-to infantry assault rifle. Though our troops saw defeat in the Vietnam War, weapons manufacturers and designers took the lessons learned on the battlefield and sought to provide our troops with a new weapon that would bring more firepower to an individual soldier without becoming a burden too heavy to carry. An American variant of the Belgian-designed Fabrique Nationale Minimi, the M249 light machine gun, has seen combat in the hands of American soldiers in every conflict involving the United States since the 1989 invasion of Panama. Plans to develop a 5.56 caliber machine gun surfaced within the Army's Small Arms program in 1968. However, it was not believed that a weapon of that size would be useful to our soldiers. The project was not fully funded until further testing of the 5.56 cartridge revealed its superior performance. In 1976, the experimental weapon that would come to be known as the M249 light machine gun was designed, built, and tested. It seemed as if soldiers would no longer have to rely on rifles or cumbersome heavy artillery for sustained, fully automatic fire. Prior to the light machine gun, or the squad automatic weapon, as it was originally designated, the primary machine guns in use by our military were the M2 machine gun, which usually had to be mounted on a vehicle, and the M60, which was slightly more portable, but still extremely heavy. Both of the weapons required a team of at least 2 soldiers to operate efficiently. The M14 and M16 rifles, though they had fully automatic fire modes, were not designed for the sustained rapid fire that would be necessary to outgun an enemy combatant. The weapons would overheat and jam, and magazines for the rifles could only hold as much as 30 rounds, a drop in the bucket compared to the rate of fire that came with the light machine gun. The M249 light machine gun has gas-powered, open-bolt action and weighs up to 22 pounds fully loaded. The weapon is belt-fed rather than magazine-fed, but the M249 can be equipped with NATO magazines in case the gun runs out of belted ammo. This, coupled with such factors as an air-cooled replaceable barrel, allows for a firing rate of up to 800 rounds per minute. The folding bipod with adjustable legs gives the gun a steadiness and an accuracy usually only found in a rifle or heavier artillery, and the weapon has an effective range of over 1,000 yards. The M249 was officially adopted by the Marine Corps in 1984, but early issues with overheated barrels and sharp edges caused production of the weapon to be suspended the following year. The 1990s saw those issues corrected and saw the light machine gun in use by American forces in the First Gulf War, Somalia, Bosnia, and Kosovo. Beginning after September 11, 2001, United States forces entered Afghanistan as part of the War on Terror. In 2003, operations also escalated in Iraq with Operation Iraqi Freedom. In both of these conflicts, United States soldiers carried M249s into battle. By this time, many of the weapons had been in service for as much as 20 years, and the sandy conditions of desert warfare had begun to cause problems with clogging and jamming in the light machine gun. The gun was becoming increasingly unreliable in combat. There were reports of some of the weapons having been spot welded, and even a few guns were held together by duct tape. Today, the Marine Corps is testing lighter, magazine-fed alternatives to the M249, such as the M27 Infantry Automatic Rifle, in an effort to further advance our soldiers' advantages on the battlefields of the future. The Joint Services Small Arms Planning Commission was developed in the 1970s in an effort to sync the firearms used across all branches of the military. In the 1980s, the committee held a design contest to replace the standard issue sidearm used, in some variant or other, by every branch since before World War I, the M1911A1 pistol. The adoption of the M9 Beretta was one of, so far, only 2 major sidearm adoption programs in a century of U.S. military history. Today, the M9 is still the standard issue sidearm across the United States Army, Navy, and Air Force. The Marine Corps has begun to replace the M9 and other field weapons with the M4 carbine rifle. Continuing to adapt weapons for close quarters combat, 1984 saw the Colt Manufacturing Company begin to design a new carbine assault rifle that would increase rate of fire and velocity while being a lighter weight rifle than its predecessor, the M16A2. Eugene Stoner, designer of the M16 and many other firearms for the Armalite Company, created the M4 carbine as a shorter and lighter variant of the M16A2. The rifles have around 80% of their parts in common. The United States military officially adopted the M4 in 1994 as a replacement for the M3 grease gun and the M16A2 rifle. Marine Corps officers up to the rank of lieutenant colonel and staff non-commissioned officers were issued the rifle to replace the M9 pistol in an effort to further the Marine Corps doctrine, every officer a rifleman. The M4 carbine has seen heavy use by United States forces, largely replacing the submachine gun due to its ability to pierce modern body armor. The weapon is eventually slated to become the standard issue assault rifle among American soldiers, replacing the M16. In 2009, the U.S. military took ownership of the M4 design in an effort to allow other manufacturers to compete with their own M4 designs so that we may continue to give our troops an edge in the war on terror. From the Firelance and the Flintlock to the M16 and the M4 carbine, guns have been evolving since before the founding of our great nation. Even those who once worked with America's adversaries saw the importance of history and tradition, even in designing something completely new. As Mikhail Kalashnikov once said,
"Each designer seems to have his own way, his own successes and failures. But one thing is clear, before attempting to create something new, it is vital to have a good appreciation of everything that already exists in this field. I myself had many experiences confirming this to be so."
When future opponents disrupt the peace, what advantages will soldiers have over the enemy? at present. The United States Army is holding a design contest seeking what has been dubbed the individual carbine. The theoretical weapon will replace even the still nebulous M4 in the hands of Army operatives, showing that the American military, designers, and manufacturers are working to ensure the future superiority of the gun and to continue the evolution of the firearm.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to help us produce more compelling historical content like this, please like, comment below, and share this video with fellow history buffs. And of course, be sure to subscribe to help keep history happening.